Hi guys, and welcome to Creative Cakes by Sharon. Today's video is part of another fun collaboration with my friends over at the Dessert Network channel. We've all made a fun treat based on one of the new Season 5 Shopkins characters. You can get the links to all these amazing videos at the end of my tutorial. My contribution was this adorable 3D cake of Polly Polish, so let's get started. The first thing I did was stack 3 layers of cake for the bottom of Polly Polish, using some buttercream to fill in between each layer. Then I gave the cake a crumb coat, covering the entire cake and giving it a rough smooth. Now to get a more even finish on the buttercream, I used a paper towel, held it up against the cake and gently rubbed my fingers over it to smooth out the buttercream underneath. Once it was nice and smooth, I popped it in the fridge to set. Now to make the lid for Polly Polish, again I stacked 3 layers of cake, but this time they were much smaller cakes, filling with buttercream and then adding a crumb coat and smoothing out with a paper towel before placing it in the fridge as well. I'm covering the cakes in fondant today, so I have this deep burgundy fondant which I've rolled out to about 3 millimeters thick, and I'm going to cover the cake and smooth out the fondant, working from the top down. As you cover the sides, just keep opening up the flares in the fondant and smoothing down. Now using a fondant smoother, I'm going to press the fondant down onto the bottom, creating a nice seal, and then trim away all of the excess. I'm going to make her little feet now, so it's just a matter of rolling out a little log of fondant and cutting it into 2 pieces, smoothing out the edges and sticking it in place using a little bit of water. For her right arm, I need to make a large teardrop shape and stick that into position as well. I'll be making her other arm a little bit later on. For the top cakes, I'll do the same, covering the cake with fondant, smoothing it out and trimming away the excess. While I have the turquoise fondant here, I'm going to create the top part of the brush for Polly Polish by just rolling out a long sausage. Using the smoother helps to roll it out evenly. Then I'm going to trim it so that it's just a little bit longer than the bottom section of the brush and insert a wooden skewer into it. I'm also going to trim off a bit of the skewer to make sure it's not too long when I insert it into the cake. To make the little nail polish brush which Polly Polish is holding, I'm using some yellow fondant which I've simply cut into 3 pieces. The bottom piece is the longest, and once I've smoothed it into a nice log shape, I'll insert it into a small skewer. The next piece is narrow and short, and the top piece is slightly oval shaped. I'm going to add a little smear of polish to the top of the brush by stretching out this tiny piece of burgundy fondant and sticking it on top. Now I can stick the brush in place and form her left arm, again making a teardrop shape and just bringing it a little bit over the brush when I stick it in place. To assemble the top cake, I'm using a little bit of buttercream to keep it in place. I'm not going to dowel this cake because it's very small and light, so it's just going to go straight on top, and then I can insert the top part of the brush. Now to make her little face, I have a picture here that I've printed out, and I'll use it as a guide, and I've already rolled out the tiny eyelashes, nose and lips. For the eyes, I'm going to cut out a circle of black fondant, then stick a smaller circle of white on top of it. Using the same size cutter again that I used for the white fondant, I'm going to cut a circle of black and then just trim off one of the sides using the cutter. This can then be stuck on top of the white fondant. For the reflection in her eye, I can use a small circle plunge cutter and pop that right on the edge of the eye. I found it handy to mark the cake lightly, so now I can go ahead and stick all the pieces of fondant in place. To make her look a little bit more cartoon-like, I added some very thin pieces of rolled black fondant around the handle of the cake, as well as on the little brush that she's holding, and finished off with an outline around her tiny nose. And finally, I brought Polly Polish to life by giving the cake a shot of steam using a handheld steamer. You can see the transformation instantly as the steam hits the fondant and creates a beautiful glossy finish, making her look just like a real bottle of nail polish. And here she is, my Polly Polish 3D cake, one of the new characters from Season 5 of the Shopkins. Guys, hit like if you enjoyed watching me create her and click on the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on any of my videos. You can connect with me on any of my social media as well for teasers to upcoming videos and all other types of fun cake related things I get up to. Don't forget to check out these other adorable creations in this collaboration. The links are on screen now for you. I hope you tune in next time, and as always guys, thanks for watching.